Aloha, and welcome to season number 3, episode 1 of Live at the Legislature. I'm Carolyn Tanaka, and during the session, every Tuesday, God willing and the windward traffic willing, I will be here sitting down with members of the House of Representatives to talk about issues, priorities, legislation, concerns running through the halls of the state capitol. Tomorrow, the 2020 legislative session gets underway. Legislators have been busy in the off-season getting ready for this session, and when the gavel goes down tomorrow, they will be ready to hit the ground running. Joining me this morning is Representative Della Belatti. She is the House Majority Leader, and we want to find out, so this session, what can we expect? What are going to be the priorities for us this year?
Carolyn, we're going to be tackling big ideas. We're going to be thinking out of the box. This afternoon, I can't tell you everything, but this afternoon at 2 p.m., we'll have a historic presentation by the House and the Senate majority presenting to you a package of incentives, initiatives that really are going to tackle affordability issues and cost of living.
Can you, can you talk a little bit more about the package? Can you reveal any details?
Well, we've been working really hard over the interim. You know, we really took and followed the lead of our legislators who are very interested in cost of living issues. House leadership has visited the communities of every freshman legislator, and when we went out in the community, we really heard issues of cost of living coming up. This was coupled with the business community that was engaging in their change conversations, the Hawaii Executive Collaborative that was looking at big issues and looking at infrastructure issues, healthcare, affordability, just as we were. Finally, you know, another different thing was we had groups like Bank of Hawaii and Aloha United Way funding really important studies that drilling down on cost of living issues. And one of the things we learned this interim from the Alice report, which focuses on asset-limited, income-constrained, employed individuals, we found that people are really struggling. We heard it in the community, but the data backs it up.
So what are we looking at? What were some of the other factors that played into this group, like the Alice group? Who are we talking about here?
So the Alice group that we're really concerned about are the people who make more, they make more and they cannot qualify for government subsidies. We're really looking at single individuals who make $22,000 annually, or a family of 4 that makes $77,000 annually. It's especially critical because it's these families, it's these working class families who find Hawaii unaffordable, and they are the ones that are leaving. We have had an out-migration of Hawaii residents from the state of Hawaii for 3 years running. We cannot sustain that. Economically, our economists are raising the red flags. If we continue to lose our working class populations, we are going to only be a community that's more divided along economic lines.
Well, I know that that you all have been working. There's been a flurry of activity here in the legislature over the past month and over the past few, as we head into the session. So I know that there's quite a lot of excitement about this collaborative historic package.
Well, let me hint at a little bit of the things that we're doing. You know, we're going to be looking at affordable housing. The legislature over the past 3 years has invested has infused millions of dollars into affordable rental development. We are going to start to continue that commitment, but also look at the other cost drivers for affordable development that are hindered, that are hindrances or obstacles to affordable development. So things like infrastructure. We're going to really look at tax credits and tax policies to encourage development and regulatory review and regulatory reform. That's one area. We're going to be looking at, and this is again informed by the Alice report that said that the big cost drivers in this state were things like housing and early child care. We have, with the private community, with the public sector, have really looked at child care issues, and we're trying to figure out how we can ensure that there is going to be more accessible child care for more of our young ones. We know that if we get individuals, if we get working families, single working families that have, little keiki, if they can send their children to quality child care, that means mom or dad can now work and they can focus on their economic resiliency. So we're going to see things in those areas: housing, early child care. We're also not going to leave off the table issues of income and tax tax credits and tax relief, because we also know from the Alice report that tax burden and income, income-constrained individuals, that's what they're struggling with.
Right.
It's going to be a broad package.
Well, I do know that, so 2 o'clock, that package will be unveiled. So for the rest of you, be sure to watch the news tonight, because this is going to be, it's an exciting package, and we're very proud of it. You're very proud of it. But, okay, so let's move on here. What other issues besides that do you think will be popping up this session?
So every session, we have chairs that are working hard. We have chairs in the Health and Human Services arena that are looking at vaping. They're looking at mental health and substance abuse treatment. We have individuals in again, housing that I mentioned. We have, young Native Hawaiian leaders in our caucus that are really championing Hawaiian issues. I think there's also going to be a conversation about Hawaiian issues. We have Mauna Kea on the table, but that's not the only Native Hawaiian issue that we have to be concerned about. Mm-hmm. We also have great chairs in our energy and CPC arenas. So we're going to continue to see conversations about climate change, as well as, I believe, clean transportation. There's lots to go around. It's not going to be just what we focus on the majority package. We're going to have our legislators really working hard in their committees.
Okay, good. Well, we kick off tomorrow, and I'm sure you will all be watching the news to see what we unveil tonight. Is there any other... I have to ask you this because you just cannot do an interview without asking the question. Recreational cannabis. Do you think that will pop up this year?
Well, in the cannabis arena, there really is a lot of things we're talking about. We're talking about CBD, we're talking about industrial hemp, we're talking about medical cannabis. We do have a task force that's looking out at best practices in other states. That's being led by our judiciary chairs in the House and the Senate, and with involvement from the Attorney General's office. So I think we'll always be looking at cannabis. What we do with it will be something that will unfold during the session.
Okay, great. And you know what? What happens down at the legislature, you never know what's going to happen, so we'll see what happens on recreational cannabis. Thank you for being here with us today. I know we have a lot on our plate, and we will be looking forward to being here every Tuesday morning, God willing, and when we're traffic, to talk about all of these issues and how they progress through the halls of the state capitol. Thank you for joining us. We will see you next week, Tuesday. Aloha.
What are you doing? We have to go. I'm gonna be late for work.
It's Tuesday morning. I gotta record live at the legislature on Alelo. Senate and House leadership discussing what's happening at the state capitol.
So just watch it on the news tonight. Come on, let's go.
Hey, this is like getting the news before it's news. If only I could get this remote to work.
There. Can we go now?
No DVR? No problem. Watch Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. on Channel 49.